the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girls. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 391. We're getting up there in numbers. I tell you, I am Jay.
Yes.
With me is Mark, and we are part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network. And we are going to finally get to all those off-season things that we haven't been able to get to yet.
You know what would be amazing, actually? If we just forgot the offseason moves and spent the entire episode going on and on about just how amazing it is that the Knicks signed Raymond Sessions. With a half-hour conversation in the middle of the episode, whether it's Raymond or Ramon.
Also, you tricked me 2 episodes ago that it was Rick Perry, and then last episode you tricked me into saying Steve Perry. I now know it's Scott Perry.
Good for you, Jay. Last episode, I thought you were just joking around. I didn't realize I was tricking you because I figured you were in on the joke.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, the Knicks signed Raymond Sessions. You could call him Ramon, I'll call him Raymond, so at least one of us will be right.
You say tomato, I say doesn't really matter.
So the Knicks got him 7 years after they initially tried to get him?
I was shocked. So Raymond / Ramon Sessions is, what is he, 31 years old?
30. I'm not against this.
No, I thought he was 40. Because somehow, because he's been on almost every team in the league already, it seems like he's 10 years older.
Yeah.
But I'm not against it. Why would you be against this? He's not good enough to make the team a lot better. At the same time, he has vet experience, and you needed someone. It was nice to have someone with some vet experience that could translate to all the young guys. And he's a hardworking player. He's more of a pass-first kind of guy. How can you be against this?
So I think the rest of the league is probably shaking in their boots now. We have a Baker, Tilakina, Sessions lineup for point guard.
Yes. We have a big 3 at point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think does Raymond, my man Sessions, is he the starting point guard now? Is Frankie the Tank the starting point guard? Is Baker the starting point guard? Or is it a completely open competition come training camp?
I think the latter is right. I don't think
it has to be. Yeah.
I don't think anybody is clearly good enough to say they have that role right now,
or really bad enough to have lost out in the role yet.
True.
What's his name? A Dark Horse? Who's the other guy we have? The other non-drafted free agent we got from last year. Baker and
Randall.
Yeah, Randall's not that good. Randall's already lost out in the competition to be the starting point guard.
Randall looked horrible in summer league, so that's not a good sign.
Right. Summer league, where the competition's not exactly that fierce, you need to look good in summer league. I would say my guess is on game 1 of the season, I'm gonna say Sessions might start. What do you think?
I think so too.
Because I could see them going, I want to start the vet. Not that he has Sessions doesn't have an amazing track record, but he's a decent point guard. Would you say he's a league average point guard? Well below league average? Like from 1 to 10, 1 being Fat Felton and 10 being Chris Paul, peak Chris Paul, 5 being average, where do you put a Sessions in?
4?
Yeah, 3 to 4. He's like a 3.5. He's below average, but he's not bad.
Your New York Knicks starting point guard, folks.
Baker, I see very fast. Baker or Ntilikina overtaking him. I think they're going to be a little bit scared to go ahead with Baker right away. But I think the goal is to have Ntilikina starting pretty fast. Is my guess, unless he does not look even close. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, since no one on the Knicks staff has actually seen him play, they don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, he's such a mystery right now. It's kind of interesting, but scary at the same time.
On the one hand, you feel like, I mean, this is all on predicated on them moving Melo. You feel like you have just a young squad, and Frank could grow with that squad. On the other hand, you don't want to put him in a situation where he looks so terrible from the start that's going to blow his confidence, and it's going to like halt his development.
Exactly. So there's it's a fine line with the managing of. I think it would probably be a good idea to have him go out against bench players to start the season anyway.
Is Ron Baker a point guard?
He feels more of a two guard to me.
I never understood exactly why he was playing. He never, to me, doesn't seem the guy that's like, oh, wow, he's a good passer. Like, he doesn't seem like he sets the offense. He seems like a solid on the defensive end. And that's
Right.
the idea with Ntilikina, too. But I haven't got the sense that Baker really is running the offense kind of guy.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's not like there was a ton of options on the team last year.
No, there wasn't. And my expectations are low for a number of wins they're going to have. And I don't mind that because I'm hoping high draft pick next year. And I want this team to develop. And I don't think I would like to see Baker get playing time. I'm just not clear that he's really, obviously, Frank is the guy they are hoping will emerge as the point guard, who also, to be fair, as some of the reports on him, he's not a clear point guard either.
Well, we're moving into the positionless era of the NBA. We're just a little bit ahead of the curve.
I like the Bill Simmons thing when he talks about tweeners, like point guard / shooting guard, like the tweeners. Tweener meaning he's not good at either.
Yeah.
But I do have high hopes for Ntilikina, and I think he can develop into be a good passer. And hopefully Baker's game will develop. The more playing time they get, the better. Other bits of Knick news. Where are they now? Marshall Plumlee, I think it's the right Plumlee, is being in talks with the Knicks to come back.
I have another where are they now?
Where are they now?
Brandon Jennings.
I'm going to say, I know this. He's been deported by the Trump administration for some reason.
Probably. I mean, he's playing in China.
He's following in Stephon Marbury's footsteps. He's like, I'm going to get a statue too.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard he turned down, he could have made more money in the NBA, but China he stayed in China anyway, or is it or the other way around? He could have made more money here.
He probably could have made more money here, but he probably got a much bigger role in China.
Yeah. And I think that he can still like, you can't make like big time NBA money, but you could probably make like vet minimum money there.
Yeah. So that's the fourth, fifth guy who is either a key player or a starter on the Knicks who is out of the NBA or pretty well out of the NBA within like a year.
Guys on the Knicks that in the last 3 years, who were a starter or a key bench player who are either out of the NBA thereafter or signing for vet minimum contracts because that's all they can get, basically.
Yeah, if you include vet minimum, then we got a ton of guys. You got
Calderon, Derrick Rose,
Aflalo. It's pretty much our whole starting lineup from last 2 years ago.
In positive news, or if you also include guys that used to start for the Knicks that their teams would love to buy out. You can include the last 5 years in like Tyson Chandler, Timothy Moscott. Well, it's going well back. Other things of Knicks news, very positive Knicks news. Team USA or Team World or whatever they're called played Africa, the entire continent, or South Africa or some part of Africa
At once.
And you know Africa lost as they always do in all life's battles, unfortunately. But KP looked awesome. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, and had some nice highlights. Great crossover. He had. Did you see the pass from Lowry?
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry hit him, and like he just like somehow hit the ball, like redirected the ball into the basket.
He also bulked up pretty significantly.
Did he look that much bigger?
I think so. I think he looked pretty big. I know you weren't a fan of that, but
well, not a fan. He needs to get bigger. I agree, not that much, but the upper body, I'm not as big at. He doesn't need to get like big like Arnold Schwarzenegger muscles. I would like to see the lower body get bigger. I think that's what really matters. I don't think the upper body strength matters, but he's probably not that much. He doesn't have that much further to go on the upper body. I think the lower body is what's the issue.
Right.
Do you think can he be a star player in the NBA if he cannot back down other centers or other like smaller players? Does he have to have that like back to the basket, back down other kind of other smaller players part of his game? How essential is that?
It's gonna be a lot harder on his career if he can't do that. I mean, with his size, he should be able to. That's probably why he's bulking up.
Did Dirk do that?
No, but Dirk has a once in a generation shot. I mean, Dirk's turnaround 1-footer is like Kareem's skyhook. Yeah,
no, I'm just pointing out that like a comparison for him, and he's not quite the shooter that Dirk is, at least yet. But Dirk didn't back guys down either. Maybe he's not thinking. Maybe his role, maybe thinking that he's going to be a back to the basket, back down guys, is not what he's ever going to really like. It's not playing to his strengths.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like if he's good at doing his I don't know, maybe he gets a signature move and he's really good at that. We don't need to force him backing down people.
I mean, I would like to see if he's guarded by a 6'7" guard or small forward, he's got to back that guy down. That's a big thing. You can't have smaller guards like you can't have Marcus Smart like giving him crap. You need like him to like just go to school on guys that are much shorter than him.
Right. That should be a clear mismatch that gets exploited.
If he's going against another center, I don't need to back those guys down. I mean, it'd be great if he could, but I don't know if that's in him or that's where he's going with his game. But he's got to be able to back down the smaller players, or else because he has to be able to use. If he goes against a bigger center, he's got to be able to use his speed to his advantage.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he's a center or a power forward long term?
I'm thinking more power forward.
Yeah, I think getting a guy like a Robin Lopez type next to him might be the ideal. More of a defensive oriented, not exactly Robin Lopez, but like a more defensive oriented or a Tyson Chandler type that really helped out Dirk. A more defensive oriented center that could do the dirty work, get the rebounds, and help solidify the rim protection.
It's just annoying in how many ways we need a guy like Robin Lopez.
But I feel like KP, he's one of his biggest strengths is his ability to run the floor and like handle the ball. Mm-hmm. You get at the ball in transition, he's freaking dynamite.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. So let's go around the league. Anything else you want to talk about for Knicks?
I think that pretty much covered it. It was not the most exciting week in Knicks news.
Wait, let me ask you. Can I ask you? I have a burning question.
Yeah.
I have a burning question. Is Melo still in the Knicks?
We didn't do an emergency episode.
Is there trade imminent?
2-yard line.
2-yard line. Everyone's talking about trades imminent, and then it's not. You know, Melo, he talked a little bit to the media. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he said he's not sure of his status. He doesn't know if he even wants. I don't know.
It's just something. Basically, it sounds like Melo and the new front office have yet to speak.
That's good. That's great.
That sounds pretty good.
So, I mean, you were getting into it with some people on Twitter where your argument was if Melo doesn't want to be a Knick, you just make him the sixth man or bench him or whatever. And people were saying you can't do that. I don't see why you can't.
I feel like so the argument is Melo was given. It wasn't like he took it at gunpoint. The Knicks gave him in a contract a no trade clause, and he has every right to exercise his no trade clause, and no one's stopping him.
Right.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So as someone else on Twitter pointed out while we were just debating this, talking about this, and this was kind of taking my side in this, was saying Melo is given a no trade clause, but his contract guarantees him that, does not guarantee him playing time. And the Knicks' only weapon in this really is to say if you're going to be so limiting with your no trade clause that you'll say I will only take a trade to one team, and that's Houston, I guess now, where you can't get a good return for trading me, and not even a good return. Like you can't get anything but a really bad return that makes the trade pointless. Then we can. Why do we have to make you the starter? We can reduce your playing time or eliminate your playing time. And then maybe you'll be more open about your trade, like about your willingness to be traded. Like there's one thing about he can exercise his no trade clause. There's another thing to take it to the extreme. If you're going to play hardball, we're going to play hardball. It's a divorce. Divorces get messy.
I mean, there's so many conflicting stories. We don't know exactly what's happening. If he's saying that he wants to be traded and he doesn't want to come back to the Knicks, but he's only giving one team, then I think you say, well, we're going youth movement. You know, you're welcome to stay here, but you're the sixth man. Hardaway's our guy of the future.
Right. I like what you said, like Stephon Marbury treatment. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Bench or just don't even you don't need to show up. Which is a pretty big bold move to take and looks bad for the Knicks to other free agents in the future. At the same time, there's no way this divorce is going to look anything but messy and it's going to look bad no matter what.
Well, I mean, that won't look as bad as getting Ryan Anderson for Melo and then, having a worse player on a worse contract.
Yeah, I mean, if Ryan Anderson's contract was the exact same length as Melo, at least you could make that argument. But the fact that it's 1 year longer, and I know the team won't be that much better. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to sign that many more guys. It just seems like you can't take back a longer contract.
Right. And I don't know what else is being offered. I mean, if it was even halfway decent, I'm sure the deal would be done already, so it's probably a bunch of garbage. And
now they're saying Rick Perry is talking about having a, and I'm never gonna use his right name from now on. Rick Perry is talking about having and by the way, I think they're saying Rick Perry might be head of Homeland Security, maybe. It's the real one. Anyway, so Rick Perry is saying that maybe they're gonna talk to Melo about what it'd be like if he stays. Possibly say, hey, you stay, and maybe that's a tactic, because Melo wants to leave. So hey, maybe they're using some strategies. I don't know if they really want him to stay or just trying to use
I mean, if they honestly tell him how it'll be if he stays, he'll probably want to leave.
Exactly. They're gonna find some. Melo, it'd be great to have you stay. We're hoping that you could mentor the team from the sidelines the entire season. We're hoping you enjoy winning. Remember the 17-win season where you got to take half the season off? You'll play the entire season. We're going to win 17 games.
Right. Yeah, you may have noticed that we have a bunch of guards who aren't really ones or twos, and we don't know what's going on. So have fun with that. And we have no bench. So please stay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go around the league. Here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go through every team, the moves they made, what their win projection total is based on ESPN's secret formula.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually a secret formula, but and I'm going to say what we think is better or worse. Sound good?
Sounds good.
And we're going to try to go fast.
Yep. So Celtics. We'll start with East.
Okay, Celtics. Their big moves. You want to say their moves?
Sure. They got Hayward. They traded Bradley for Morris, and they drafted Tatum.
Okay, and the win projection is?
Win projection is 49.4.
Okay, so that's a little bit less than last season, I think.
Yeah, they had 53 last year. I would say that that's low.
So first of all, do you like their moves for the offseason? They didn't get Paul George. They didn't get Jimmy Butler. They got Gordon Hayward, who's a very fine player, but you feel like they could have gotten Butler or George as well.
George is risky. He could leave after 1 year, and it seems like he really wants to go to L.A., so I could see passing on George. And
Butler,
I mean, do you need Hayward and Butler, though?
I mean, you have a very, very good team, though.
You do, but I don't know. That seems a little redundant. I feel like maybe they're holding out for a big man.
I mean, maybe they think highly of Tatum.
And they lost Kelly Olynyk.
That's not a big deal. Tatum apparently looked really good in Summer League, which again, there are a lot of guys that look really good in Summer League that aren't very good. But he looked really good in Summer League.
I mean, Bradley's a good defender, but he's injured a lot. So it's not a huge downgrade at Morris. Hayward's obviously really good. Tatum's good. I mean, this team's going to be better. I don't see how they think they're going to have less wins.
First of all, also, Marcus Morris, the only times I've really watched him play is when he plays the Knicks, and Melo's usually guarding him, and Morris looks better than Melo.
Yeah.
So I would say I'm thinking like they're going to get I'm thinking like 55 wins for this team. I think this team will be really good.
Yeah.
I'm saying also we'll do our predictions later on about like playoffs and all that, but I feel like this team Celtics got better and they should be a threat to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think if Cleveland's going down, this could be the year.
Okay.
Cleveland.
Okay. What order are you going in?
I am going.
I thought we were going alphabetically, but you're just going whatever the hell you please.
I'm going in the projected win total order.
Okay. Cleveland's projected. Let's see the moves in the offseason. Let's see. They got Kyrie.
They got Calderon.
They got Calderon. They got Derrick Rose, so they have a super team.
So they got the guys that used to be on the Knicks who are absolutely horrendous on defense.
They're basically the Knicks now. With they also have Jared. If you asked a couple years ago, what would happen if LeBron James just joined the Knicks? Look at Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean Shumpert, Smith, Calderon, Rose.
They got
Fry.
Jeff Green also.
And Fry.
And they got Fry.
No, I mean they have like.
Oh, they have Fry. Yeah.
They could put out an all ex-Nick lineup now.
Their regular scheduled games are former Knick reunions. They still have Kyle. They still have Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving is a complete disaster.
Yeah, so he's asking for a trade. He does not have a no trade clause.
He made it known in the offseason very recently that first class tickets to the NBA Finals. I piss on that. I'm going to say he will not be. Yes, he does not have a no trade clause. We're guessing he's going to be traded, right?
I would think he would be traded. On the other hand, it's another thing. Like, there's no rush on Cleveland's side. Like,
right.
If they're not going to get a really good deal, like, what's the point?
But they're going to get a really good. I mean, they can get a pretty good deal. A lot of teams are going to go in for it. I don't know what the offer is, and there's rumors, and every day people on Twitter are like, what about this rumor? What about this idea? What about this idea? I have no idea what people are actually offering. Eric Bledsoe's been thrown around a lot. He'd be a pretty interesting guy for them to get. I'm going to assume whoever they get will not be as good as Kyrie on offense and will be a better defender. And I'm going to assume he's going to be traded. What do you say here?
That sounds about right. I mean, this team is worse, right? We can.
How many wins?
They still win 50 just because they have LeBron. I'd say 52.
I don't think they're much worse.
No, they're not much worse, but
I think you're not going to see. With Kyrie Irving, they couldn't beat Golden State. Without Kyrie Irving, they'll play Golden State again.
Maybe.
I don't see you don't think they're going to the NBA Finals without LeBron getting injured. I think they're going to the NBA. I think they still have a good enough team. I still think whatever you want to say about Rose, he'll look better on this team. A lot of guys look better. They have guys that can score. They need more scoring. Defense is going to be pretty mediocre, but LeBron can get everyone to play to their best defensive level. You got J.R. Smith to play defense. He can get guys to play defense.
Yeah.
Whoever they get for Kyrie Irving will be a step up. And Kyrie Irving, when LeBron's not on the floor and Kyrie Irving is on the floor, the team is a negative. The team is a minus plus minus. So
they won 51 last year, about the same, right?
I'd say, yeah. They win 50. They lose one game, and they still go to the NBA Finals. Go on. And yeah.
And we are now done with the 50-win teams in the East.
And if you want to give offseason grade for that, not that we have to, but offseason grades for Cleveland, a shining D.
Yeah,
the only thing they don't play.
Korver's, 35, 36? They give him a 3-year, $22 million deal.
That was weird.
That's not good. So we got the Wizards.
Yes. Wizards. Jumping to the W's. That's very helpful. Thank you, Jay. Go with the moves.
So they didn't do too much. They did.
They had to match Otto Porter's gigantic offer.
Yes, they gave Otto Porter all the money.
Which is weird because Otto Porter's not worth all the money, and you might have just want to want. It's hard because like you were building something in Washington, and you feel like if Cleveland falls off, you're one of the teams that would contend to take over, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like you're stuck in a place where like I would have given Porter a lot of money, just not that much money.
And pretty much they let Bogdanovich walk, and they got Jody Meeks. So.
Whatever.
So they didn't really do much.
They got Tim Frazier, your D-League man crush.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they traded a second-round pick for Tim Frazier.
Mediocre offseason. They'll still be a pretty good team. I'm going to put them in like 45 to 46 wins. Where they have them?
They have them at 47.5.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
They're still a good team. They still got John Wall. Barring injury, and everything's barring injury, they have a very good team.
The Bucks. The Bucks signed Tony Snell to a 4-year deal. They
did they have a press conference thereafter to explain why?
and
He's fine. It's just he got $40 million. Just seems like a lot for Tony Snell. But go on.
That's pretty much it.
That's the. Snell's getting better. He's been in the league for how long?
Let's say 5-6 years.
Oh, only 4 years actually. For some reason I thought he was playing longer. He's a fine player. That's not really a big move. But Milwaukee, on the other side of Milwaukee, you got some young players that are getting better. They got the rookie of the year who's getting better, Brogdon, you assume the second year will get better. You assume the Greek Freak is going to keep getting better.
Yeah,
they have a very good team still.
Yeah.
Do you think Jabari Parker would get better? He's still was he in his second year of playing? Third year?
Yeah, he missed an entire year, right? So I don't know if
did he get injured again?
He's always injured.
He's injured life, but if you feel like if he plays, he'll he feel like he could be good. I feel like the Bucks are a very good team. They're also in this cusp group of Washington, Milwaukee, Boston probably in the lead in this group of hey, Cleveland, you fall off a little bit, we could take you down. And Milwaukee looks like a team that's hey, in 2 years, we could be going to the finals. Or 2 or 3 years. So I like what they're doing there. I'm going to say 44 wins.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The ESPN says 46.9, 47.
Okay.
That seems a little high right now. But
it's not that it's not that. It's a little high. I agree.
The Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets.
So they got Michael Carter-Williams for 1 year, $2.7 million deal.
Chicago Bulls would tell you you're being ripped off.
And they added Dwight Howard to replace Plumlee.
Okay, so here the article here in the ESPN article gives them a B+ for that. A B+ for getting Dwight Howard? Come on.
Yeah, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, or 3. I don't know. Howard seems like he's fallen off a lot. He seems like injuries have hurt him big time. I don't think this was a positive move. And it seems like everywhere Howard goes, he's like, oh, hey, you know what this team needs? Cancer. I don't like this move at all. I am going to downgrade Charlotte to 39 wins.
What did they have last year? 40 something, right? Yeah, they're not very good.
I hate this move of Dwight Howard.
So Michael Carter-Williams is already going to be on his 4th team in 4 years.
Hey Philly, going 3 years in the past. Why are you trading Carter-Williams? He's so good. He sucks. I don't care what he won. He sucks.
How do you win
Philly? Apparently you're right.
How do you win Rookie of the Year and then get traded every single year?
Yeah, Philly was right to trade him. He's not good.
Yeah. So they are projected at 44. That seems high to me.
I don't. 39 wins, maybe less.
They were 36 last year. Yeah, maybe.
Wait, there were 36 wins. They added 7 wins for Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
F that. 33 wins.
Toronto Raptors.
Toronto Raptors.
They signed Lowry for 3 years, $93 million.
That was a pretty solid move.
Ibaka, 3 years, $65 million.
Did you not love the Lowry signing? Because just not the amount of money. Because they get $30 million for Lowry, whatever. But 3 years, it's not so bad.
Yeah, 3 years.
You feel like he should have gotten a 5-year deal and sucked for the last 2 of those years, and you got those years off, not on the salary. It's like you paid for those 2 years early.
Yeah, it seems like they said, we know this team is not going to be good in 3 years, and we're just nobody's having a contract beyond that.
Would you rather give Kyle Lowry a 5-year, $93 million deal or a 3-year, $93 million deal?
3.
I would agree with that. I would say they're not going to do that much with the money that they would save, and it would hurt more in years 4 and 5. That being said, they still have a good team. You still got DeRozan. Lowry's still a very good player.
Yeah, but they gave up a first rounder, Corey Joseph and Carroll, to the Nets.
But they wanted to get rid of those players.
I don't think they want to get rid of Joseph. I think Joseph in the first rounder was to take the beast.
Yeah, well, they were trying to get money, basically. They were trying to get some salary cap. Did they sign anyone?
CJ Miles? I mean, this team's worse than last year.
Yeah.
They went from maybe they could sneak into the finals to they're going to be slightly above 500.
Yeah, I feel like they've fallen off. They were in that category. They peaked too early in the category of we could take over for Cleveland. Now they've their window is fading, and Cleveland's still there.
But they also lost Patterson. So they lost Carroll, Patterson, Joseph. They're not. So I'm going to say 44 wins. They're still good enough to win 44 games, but they're not much better. ESPN says 43.4.
How many did they win last year?
That I'm not sure of.
Thank you, ESPN, for having that. What else? Who's next? Miami, who had a very, very Jekyll and Hyde type season where they were horrible the first half, and the second half they were one of the best teams in the NBA. 30-11 in the second half and it's amazing they were 30-11 in the second half and still missed the playoffs. That's how bad their first half was.
Yeah, so they basically everybody who played good in the second half they gave really big contracts to. So James Johnson 4 years 60, Waiters 4 years 47. They got Olenek 4 years 45, and Tyler Johnson. So
Olenek was not there last year, but he's a newcomer. But you gotta like that. I mean, why would you not want to go all in on the second half of the season?
Right. It just seems like a team that, they must have a lot of faith in these guys because they did not make any moves that make them better.
No, but Winslow gets better. He
better get better.
What do you say?
He better get better.
They're
in a lot of trouble if he doesn't.
They're counting on that. You feel like you still got a great point guard. You got a very good, not great, but a very good point guard there. I'm going to say, are they really the terrible team from the first half or really the great team from the – they're probably not the terrible team from the first half, and they're probably not the great team from the second half. But I feel like they're a pretty good team and probably more for second half than the first half because I feel like they probably figured out how they play, what works for them. I'm going to say this team, 49 wins.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think the Heat are going to be good.
No, I'm going 42.
Well, it's okay to be wrong in life, Jay.
ESPN says 42.3.
Well, ESPN, you and Jay are wrong together.
Detroit Pistons, they lost Caldwell Pope, but they gave Langston Galloway, an ex-Knick, 3 years, $20 million. They got Avery Bradley and lost Marcus Morris. I don't know.
So this is Stan Van Gundy's team, right?
Yeah.
A couple years back, they said, Stan Van Gundy, you're such a goddamn genius. We love what you did with Orlando, having which was basically to take Dwight Howard and drive him out of town. or I don't think, not necessarily they drove Dwight Howard out of town, but we like what you were doing so much that we made you the coach and the GM. It's your team. You can do whatever you want with the team, Stan Van Gundy. And Stan Van Gundy said, I'm going to do with the team what I've done with my body, make it a complete goddamn mess.
I mean, player coaches don't seem to. I mean, coach GMs don't seem to work out too often.
Never. They work out never.
Well,
when do they work out?
I think Tibbs is doing a great job.
I think they're a horrible idea. They're two separate jobs. They're two very I know Phil Jackson did put a lot of work in, but they should be two very taxing, high level, a ton of work oriented jobs where you're working like 80-hour weeks, and there's not 160-hour weeks. You can't work 160 hours in a week. So it should be two separate people doing this job. I hate when one guy's doing both. Detroit's a mess. Galloway contract's absurd.
It is.
But it's a small contract. Caldwell Pope, that's losing a lot. I just know where they're going. I don't know where they're going. And Andre Drummond, you built your team around him, not working out.
Drummond seems like he's like a Hibbert, where he had like one or two really good seasons, and then like everyone figured him out, and now he's kind of useless.
He can get rebounds. He's not a guy you build your team around, apparently.
No.
I'm not liking what Detroit's doing. I'm going to say Detroit wins 32 games.
Yeah. 32, 33 sounds good. ESPN is 35, getting into the playoffs with 35 wins. You know there's going to be like 250-win teams in the West that don't make the playoffs.
Wait, getting into the playoffs with 35 wins?
Yeah, we're only at the 8th seed right now. That's how bad the East is.
Holy shit. Okay, let's go. Who's
I
next?
mean, we're going by projected, but still, it gets worse from here. I mean, I can't really argue. Philly.
The thing is, the East gets to mostly play each other, so there's got to be teams with more wins. Philly, I have high hopes for what they're doing. I kind of love what they're doing now. The process has won me over. I like their big three. I think both games that all three of those guys play in together this year will be amazing. You think how many games will Fultz, Simmons, and Embiid play? All three of them play
together in the same game.
All three of them play more than 20 minutes in the game, and none of them get injured during that game.
12.
I'm going to say like 25, and I think that's actually at least maybe 30 games, and if that happens, it's a wash. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they're all healthy because I would really like to see what this team looks like.
I think ESPN projected Fultz and Simmons to be also below average starters as rookies. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm surprised. I thought they'd be at least league average starters at worst.
Yeah.
Not that who the hell knows how they project guys who've never been in the NBA, how they project how good they're going to be the first year. They made two big signings. They signed J.D. Redick for $23 million, which shocked me and Redick. And Amir Johnson got $11 million. Both one-year deals, so they're going to have a lot of free cap space next year. They still have Sark, who coming off a solid almost won Rookie of the Year. It's so hard to say here. What did they win? 31 games last year? Something like that?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 36 games. I mean, I feel like at least 70 of the games will have one of those three guys healthy. I feel like they're going to be pretty good. 35, but I think 35 games and looking good and looking to get better. Embiid is the biggest question mark here of all of them.
If they win 35-36, they might make the playoffs.
Yeah, I can see them being an 8th seed, I guess. 35 games. I like what they're doing. I just don't know what's going to happen health-wise.
All right, talking about you don't know what they're doing, let's move on to the Orlando Magic.
What was Philly's projected?
33.
Okay. Orlando Magic.
They signed Mac, 2 years, $12 million. DJ Augustine has 3 years, 21. Jesus. And they got Jonathan Simmons.
DJ Augustine has 3 years, $21 million left on his deal.
Yeah.
I thought he was a guy that is not allowed by NBA rules to get above the vet minimum.
And they got Jonathan Simmons from the Spurs for $18 million.
Okay,
for
so
3 years.
we're salivating on that move. You and I both love that move. You tell me you don't love the 3-year, $18 million deal for Simmons.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good.
I wish the Knicks had done that.
Yeah.
They got Jonathan Isaac, who's supposed to be really good, who also I would have been salivating if the Knicks had drafted.
Yeah.
Actually, if the Knicks had this offseason, I would be very happy. Tell me you would not love this offseason. If you told me this offseason the Knicks drafted Jonathan Isaac to play alongside KP, they signed Jonathan Simmons to a reasonable 3-year deal, and who gives a crap about Shelvin Mack? But you told me those are the moves. I would say, sounds good to me.
And they got Spites for the vet men.
They got who?
Maurice Spites.
Oh, Spites. I thought you said Spikes. I like their offseason. I still think they're going to be horrible. 25 wins.
The thing is, I like that offseason for a team that needs tweaking. I don't like that offseason for a terrible team.
Well, they're a terrible team with some long shots here. You're hoping, Simmons, Isaac obviously the sixth pick in the draft. He's a guy you're hoping to develop, and he could end up being really good. And then Simmons, he's 28, but looked really good in the playoffs for the Spurs. You're hoping maybe he could take the next step.
Yeah.
When you're this bad, you gotta sometimes just take hey, let's just throw some spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks.
So what are you saying for wins?
25.
ESPN thinks 32. I think they have overestimated Orlando.
I still think they're gonna be bad. I just don't see how they're gonna. Even if Simmons looks decent, and even if Isaac's, the team's really bad.
Here's another I don't know what they're doing team, the Pacers. So obviously they lost Paul George. They replaced that with Oladipo, Sabonis, Bogdanovich, Darren Collison, and Corey Joseph.
Okay, I'm just saying, we're going to give you Paul George. Now, tell me whatever trade you guys were thinking that we would laugh at. We'll just say yes.
And they also lost Jeff Teague. I threw that in there as if that's not their second best players. they lost their two best players.
They signed Collison, right?
Collison, Joseph, Bogdanovich, Sabonis, Oladipo are the guys they added.
So I guess they're building around Miles Turner and Oladipo. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sabonis was supposed to be good. He's not, but he's supposed to be.
29 wins.
You think they're gonna get that? He's a solid player. Yeah, 29 went fine. Whatever. Pacers are horrible.
ESPN thinks 32.
Okay. Who's next?
The Knicks.
So, Knicks! Knicks in the what in God's name are they doing category.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway. That's
Everyone listens to the show knows what they did.
Yeah. You know what you did, Knicks.
You know what you did this summer, Knicks.
I know what you did last summer, 3. There's no murders. It's just the Knicks front office.
I'm going to assume Melo's going to be gone. And if Melo is gone, this team will win 17 games.
Even if Melo's here, this isn't a very good team. There's no bench.
But they win games. Melo can get them to 28, 29 wins.
Yes, the lofty heights of 29 wins.
This team is going to be there's so much has to go. We all love KP. He will hopefully get better.
You do know that Knicks Twitter is freaking out over the projected 32 wins.
Are they really?
Yes.
Freaking out isn't how they'll never be that high, or people think that's too low.
People think that this is a playoff team.
Phil Jackson every year thought it was the playoff team, but this is ridiculous. First of all, 32 wins is a lot of wins for this Knicks team to get.
Yes.
They're including Melo being on the team. look at the team. Like, forget the starters. The bench is god awful.
It's Hernan Gomez and like nothing.
There's Cock. There's Chasen Randall. There's Kuz, who really is not an NBA player. There is Lance Thomas. I mean, also we're naming players that are on the bench, and we know who the starters, but we're naming them without talking about the injuries.
Right.
Because this team will get injured. The team always gets injured, and once you take away the little depth we have, this team is going to be so bad. I mean, Noah's our starting center.
Yeah.
And he won't play.
No, he won't.
I maybe 20 games. Yeah, I'll put it up to 20 games. There's no way in God's green earth they're getting 32 wins this year. I would be shocked. Timmy Hardaway is going to the All-Star game if they get 32 wins.
Yeah, they're not going to be good. So I figured out what the Knicks are doing though. So this past season, they won 31 games. They're now projected to win 32 games, which means 2038, 50-win team. We're going up a win every season. 50-win team in 2038. Heard it here first.
I like it. I like it.
They're playing the long game, man. There's no rush.
There's no rush at all. Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many question marks in this team. I don't know how you get to 32. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Nets. They added Crabbe, the Beast, Mozgov, D'Angelo Russell.
I mean, they're freaking awful.
And they lost Brook Lopez.
I mean, the Celtics are wondering like, come on, Nets. I mean, like, are you going all in on this or not? You're going to be bad for it. We need the draft. We need #1 pick from you again.
I mean, at this point, even the Celtics probably feel bad.
The Nets should be better than last year. Brook Lopez is a pretty big deal to lose, but he didn't seem to add wins to the team. D'Angelo Russell, I feel like will get a little better on the Nets team where he's given freedom to do whatever he wants because who cares? Crabbe is decent. DeMar Carroll is decent. Mozgov.
I'm going 23 wins.
What did they have last year? Like 12?
Something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going 20. I have the Knicks at 20. I still think they're worse than the Knicks. So I'm going 18 wins.
ESPN thinks 29.5.
Wow.
I would bet so much money on the under on that.
Can we get to Vegas now?
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, why are you studying for the CPA? Just put all the money you have on this under, and you don't need to take the CPA.
Well, this isn't Vegas odds, or else I would. So we got to start speeding up. The Bulls.
Oh, we're not on the West.
They
How bad do they think the Bulls are going to be?
Well, they lost Butler, and they got Dunn and Levine. They got Justin Holiday because the Knicks didn't want to give 2 years, $9 million.
I mean, they had a pretty bad offseason. They drafted Markinson, who already looks like, oh, why'd you draft him?
He also looks like the same exact player as Meritic.
Yes. He does look very similar. They're going to be really bad. Wasn't Dunn out all last year?
Yeah, no. He sucked. Levine
was out all last year.
Yeah.
And he can't play defense anyway.
Yeah.
Bulls, what do they have? They have Robin Lopez. They have Wade is not on the team anymore, or is he still on the team?
He's still on the team.
They haven't bought him out yet.
Not yet.
Wade just said, "Oh yeah." Wade was like, "I had 24 billion reasons to pick up my option."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, now buy me out." And the Bulls are like, "No, you're gonna make us pay $24 million. We're gonna make you play with this crap."
Yeah, exactly. I would have done the same thing.
I'm saying they win 26 games.
Yeah, I could go with that. And last is the Hawks.
The Hawks. How many wins do they have projected for the Hawks?
27, which seems also high. So that team from 3 years ago.
Let's see if we can get the best record in the NBA and then little by little get rid of all those players.
They lost their entire starting lineup.
Holy crap.
So this season they lost Millsap. So they got Ilyasova, Dwayne Dedmon. They're going to be just trash. We don't need
They
to
have
talk
they
about
have
that.
Crawford, but did they buy him out already? I think they already bought him out.
Yeah.
They're winning 20 games. They're horrible. But they got and they're building around. Who's the point guard they thought was going to be really good? Who's not?
The guy with the stupid bleached thing.
The
in his
worst freaking haircut.
hair. I can't watch their games because of him.
Okay. Let's just go on.
Okay. West. The Warriors.
The Warriors. Let's go fast on this. Okay.
Yeah.
The Warriors. Let's see. Their off season, they made sure Steph Curry and Kevin Durant were still alive. A+.
That was Durant actually gave a real discount, not like a mellow. Here's $20 off my tab discount. They he took a $9 million a year discount, and so they kept their entire team, which I'd never seen before, and they added Caspi and Nick Young, so they're even better.
Yeah. They're gonna win the NBA Finals.
Yes.
They're not winning 74 games though. I'm gonna have them winning 63.
And ESPN says 62. The Rockets.
Rockets love their offseason.
Yeah, I mean they added Chris Paul. They lost a few players to get him, but they got PJ Tucker and Mbah Moute.
Do you like how they added Melo?
We may have to redo this at some point.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not like their offseason? I have some concerns with Harden and Paul playing together, but I feel like they'll work that out.
Oh, hopefully they don't, because I hate Houston.
Do you think, how good is Chris Paul off the ball?
We'll find out.
Yeah, because the only thing I'm like, James Harden proved to be the ultimate D'Antoni point forward. He is a very, very good passer. So you wonder if Chris Paul and Harden, in some ways, like have the same role, like a lot of what Chris Paul would do there, Harden's already doing. But then again, they're both really good. I'm sure they'll work this out. I'm going to say 55 wins.
There's an amazing clip of Team World where Chris Paul is yelling at Harden for not taking a layup or something, and Harden is dancing. So that's a good preview of what we can expect during the season.
Well, do you remember that clip where it was Dwight Howard was alone under the basket and just basically jumping up in the air, screaming, "Give me the goddamn ball!"
Yeah.
And Harden just took a long three.
Yeah. Okay, Spurs.
What do they have, by the way? What do they have for Rockets? How many wins?
They have 55.
Okay. Spurs, I don't know what they're doing. They gave a 3,800-year-old Paul Gasol a 3-year, $49 million deal. They brought in Rudy Gay, interesting. But they let a lot of the young guys, they let Denman go, they let Simmons go.
It seems like they're going all in on a team that has no chance of beating the Warriors.
Yeah, but I guess, what do you do? You're not going to – Spurs aren't going to go in and all rebuild either, though. So, and Simmons, I guess, is a little bit older anyway. I don't know. I mean, you have Kawhi Leonard, and it's Kawhi Leonard in the peak of his career. Durant gets injured, maybe you have a shot.
Yeah, I expected more. The Spurs are usually a little more savvy. I feel like this is one of the first off seasons in a while where I feel like they lost.
Well, I'm sure there's someone they signed that was not even drafted who will be a Hall of Famer. That's what the Spurs do.
Yeah, there is always that.
I'm going to say they, despite everything you just said, they're going to win 57 games. They're going to be a very good team.
52.6 says ESPN.
Okay.
Timberwolves. They had an amazing
Timberwolves.
offseason. So they got rid of Dunn and Levine. They added Jimmy Butler. They got rid of Rubio. They added Jeff Teague. They got Jamal Crawford, Taj Gibson. Those two are a little more questionable. It seems like Tibbs is just going for his old roster.
Yeah, obviously. Which, again, why you don't make the coach and the GM the same person.
Right.
But Jimmy Butler, huge move, did not give up that much of value for him. So I love that move. Do you think Rubio and Teague, is Teague that much better than Rubio?
No, it seems like they weren't happy with Rubio for whatever reason. I would have loved to get Rubio on the Knicks. They didn't seem happy with him, and so they got a fine replacement.
I mean, it seemed like also when the Rubio rumors started, Rubio stepped up his game. Like his second half of the year looked like post trade deadline looked great.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been so happy with Rubio, but
okay. So so basically, with the big move in this team, if you're gonna say Rubio and Teague mostly cancel each other out, and Crawford helps the bench, but he's still pretty old. Gibson, he's good, but like the major move is Butler. Last year, how many wins they have? Like 35 wins?
I don't even think they had that.
They had 32 wins last year. Are they suddenly a playoff team because of Jimmy Butler?
ESPN thinks they're a 4 seed with 50 wins.
ESPN, you're wrong. 44 wins? 40? Like 30? I'm going to say they win 41 games. I'm going to say they're a 500 team, and I know that's not going to be a popular thing to say, but they added a lot, but I don't know if they've done enough to really put this team. And you also think, what's his name's going to get better? They're the guy they drafted over KP, who's
Towns.
Yeah, I mean, they got a really good team.
I think they win 44 or 45, still miss the playoffs because the West is going to have 8 50-win teams.
Yeah, I think 44 wins. I just don't think 50. I don't think they're a 50-win team, and I feel like this team, the competition in the West is so strong, they're not going to win as many of those games as you expect.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the Thunder.
Thunder! They had a great offseason as well.
They did. I mean, even if Paul George is 1 year, they gave up Oladipo and Sabonis, which isn't much to give up.
And you also have gone you said like, hey, impending free agent Westbrook, we're going to go all in for you. Maybe you'll go all in for us.
They got Patrick Patterson. They got Raymond Felton for the vets minimum. Another Knicks player making the vets minimum.
Yeah. I mean, they signed Andre Robertson to a 3-year, $30 million deal. But Robertson, while not the offensive savant, he's a solid defensive player, and a guy you should bring back. I feel like also, whereas Chris Paul and James Harden, I'm not sure how it's going to fit together, but I think they will make it work. Here, Westbrook and Paul George makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it sure does.
I think this team is going to be really good, and Paul George can play defense. What did they win last year? 46 wins, maybe?
With a pretty trash lineup backing up Westbrook.
I'm going to say 53 wins. I think they're a decent amount better. I think they're going to be a serious contender. Of course, Golden State has this run away with this, but like they're going to be good.
ESPN thinks 49.5.
Here's a question. Is Westbrook going to try to average triple-double, or is he over that?
I think he's over that now.
And I think that'll help.
Yeah.
I think he set out to do it. He did it. If it's not as important to him to get every rebound, so he gets his triple-double, it'll be helpful.
Agreed.
And also, when he's off the court and Paul George is on the court, it won't be as big a fall-off as the garbage they had on there before. Okay, who's next?
The Clippers. Obviously, they lost Paul, but they added Pat Beverly, Lou Williams, Sam Decker, ex-Nick Gallinari. And Milos Teodosic.
I am excited for Gallinari. There's a lot to do in L.A. when you're injured.
So he signed with L.A., and then he punched somebody in the face in a EuroLeague game and broke his hand. Not a joke. This actually happened.
Okay, so I made the joke about him being injured, and I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I did. I just made the joke because he's injured always. I didn't know he actually did that.
Yeah, he was in a EuroLeague game. He punched the guy in the face and broke his hand.
Holy crap. Holy crap. They maxed Blake Griffin. I don't think, I know people were saying they won't be that big of a fall off. I think there's going to be a fall off. I think this is like a 42-win team. 43-win team. Clippers are noticeably worse.
Clippers are done. Their window of making the conference finals and losing there is now closed.
The only thing they did that was interesting, they signed Milos Teodosic.
Yeah.
or however you pronounce his name, who was a European star, a point guard, who could end up being pretty good in the NBA. Who the hell knows? And if he's pretty good, that makes a giant difference in this team.
Yeah. I mean, he's. I guess they're looking at him as a Chris Paul replacement.
Okay,
So,
say 45 wins. Yeah, but they're not contending. They're on the downward.
Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets. They got a
Paul
lot
Millsap.
of good young players.
Yeah, and they added Paul Millsap. And
Which is interesting.
yeah.
Do they just release Kenneth Faried, or they just like Kenneth Faried has your Millsap has your locker, and just why even bothering showing up anymore, Faried?
Yeah, he really. I'm glad we didn't draft him now.
Like Faried is what like they hope Faried would become Millsap, and now that Millsap's here, like you're just saying, Faried, we have just no more faith in you.
Yeah.
They got Jokic, which I think Millsap is a great guy to put next to Jokic. Jokic, Banana Fokic. They're gonna be pretty good. They got a bunch of young players. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to be decent. I still don't think they're a playoff team, but probably mid-40s.
Yeah, I think they're like four. I think I put them at 45 wins also on the rise versus Clippers on the downfall. They have a shot at the playoffs.
ESPN says 44.7 eighth seed.
Okay, yeah, they have. I see them be. I think they might be the 8th seed.
Pelicans. They got Rondo for 3.3. That's it.
Interesting.
That's
and what
it.
else?
Oh, they re-signed Drew Holiday for $150 million, and that's pretty much it.
I'm going to guess that's one of those contracts that will be laughable in February. Actually, I don't know how bad. It'll look bad sometime soon, but it may not look bad right away.
I know they have Davis and Cousins, but this is a terrible team.
Yeah. I mean, the Rondo signing is interesting. I mean, Rondo's a good guy to sign, I guess, if you have two guys that need the ball, so Rondo can get them the ball.
Yeah, they're going to be terrible. I don't have anything to say about them.
So is Rondo and Holiday going to play together, I guess?
I mean, Holiday has been injured every single season of his entire career, so probably don't even have to worry about that.
No, but I think it's a good idea. I like that idea. It should be interesting. I'm saying I'm going to say like 41 wins, 500 team.
I'm saying way worse, 30, 37. I think they're terrible.
Okay, who's next?
Trailblazers.
They won Ad Mello. They got rid of Crab.
They got Andrew Nicholson. They didn't do much else.
They drafted a guy. They still got one of the best
Backcourts.
Yeah, backcourts in the league. So they're still like a 42, 43 win team. Those two guys alone, they're going to win games.
Yeah.
But they're not. Well, they also have to be fair. So besides McCollum and Lilliard, they have the center, the guy they got from Denver,
Nurkic,
who looked really good at post trade. They look like they have a very good offense.
Yeah.
I'm going to say actually like 45 wins, 46 wins. I feel like they're actually going to be on the rise. They're going to score a lot of points, and teams are going to have trouble keeping up with them.
Dallas Mavericks.
They
got Josh McRoberts.
Did they already announce they're tanking this year, or they're going to wait a little bit?
I mean, their only move is to get Josh McRoberts. So yeah, I guess they announced they're tanking.
Have they not signed Nerlens Noel yet?
Not yet.
He's a restricted free agent, so they will be able to sign him.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they're gonna be awful. I mean, they have Dennis Smith, who's the guy that everyone thought the Knicks should take.
Mm-hmm.
Who I don't think will be that good. I'm gonna say 27 wins.
I'll give them 30, but yeah, they're gonna be bad. Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies. Memphis, a team that window is over.
Yeah, they lost Randolph, Tony Allen. They got McLemore and Tyreek Evans. They're going to be bad.
They're going to be horrible. I mean, what's his name is just probably upset he's still there. Gasol.
Yeah. 30
West.
wins. Lakers.
Wait, here's a question for you. Grizzlies. Will they have what will be a higher number? The number of wins they have, or the number of millions of dollars they're paying Mike Conley? Per year.
Dollars for Mike Conley.
Because Conley's getting $30 million.
Yeah.
Will they win 30 games?
They might not.
They might not. Who's next?
Lakers.
No team could be playing more for next season when they're going to have LeBron, apparently. They got rid of Russell, which you can't hate because they were clearing space for Lonzo Ball, and you didn't want to have Russell fighting Lonzo Ball because you felt like they wanted to get the ball. They wanted to say, Lonzo, it's your team, right?
Right.
Lonzo looked pretty good in Summer League, but, I mean, who the hell knows what that means?
They got Brook Lopez. They got
Caldwell Pope.
1 year, $18 million. I mean, it was a pretty good offseason for them.
I mean, but they're still going to be horrible.
Yeah.
26 victories.
Sounds about right. 2 more. Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix what'd they do?
They drafted Josh Jackson.
Who's supposed to be pretty good.
That's all they did.
And they still have Devin Booker, and they still have Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah. This is a team that's in every single trade rumor, so this team probably will change at some point.
Yeah. 28 victories, though.
And last is the Kings.
Sacktown. Here we come. What do you think? What'd they do?
They added George Hill, Vince Carter, Zach Randolph.
Because they
Fox.
added all those guys because they're about to win the title.
Yeah, they did a lot of win-now moves.
I don't hate these moves, actually. I'm going to say they had a young squad, and they want to make the young squad better, so they add some vets who kind of can nurture the young players. It's an argument that could help them develop. They're all short-term deals.
I don't mind it at all. I think they got a decent team.
Because you drafted Fox, and now he could be George Hill's understudy.
Mm-hmm.
And George Hill's contract is a 3-year deal, so that's not so bad for developing Fox.
Yeah.
You got the guy you wanted in last year's draft. Who was the guy you wanted in last year's draft?
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield, who they're high on, and he
had a good second half last year.
And he can learn a lot from Vince Carter. Zach Brand, he learned from the vets. They have Carl Towns is play. Who's the other guy that played with him? Who's the Kentucky guy?
Cauley Stein.
Cauley Stein.
You're not remembering anybody's name tonight.
I don't remember. I have 2 kids. I am brain dead. I have not been able to think for the last 6 years.
So I don't think they're going to be as bad as they're projected.
We were on vacation. We drove back. I had to listen to about a half-hour fight between my kids in which my son kept saying, Nationwide is on your side, and my daughter kept saying, Nationwide is not on my side. Real fight really happened. I can't think. They're going to be bad, but I kind of like what Kings are doing. I'm going to say they win 32 games.
Okay. That's it. So we're done
Okay.
with that.
We don't have many questions. Let's do the emails. We don't have much.
Okay.
You wanna do-
Nick writes, I wanted to ask if you want to keep Melo if it means KP is happy. There are constant reports of KP wanting Melo to be there. What are your thoughts?
I think KP's okay if he leaves. I think KP's okay if he stays. That's my take on it. And I kind of want to. I kind of want Melo to leave because I want this team to get young and develop. And I think Melo stalls that.
Yeah, well, I want a full youth movement.
Yeah. Yeah. But I would say the. Do you buy that KP would be really upset if Melo left?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Alan writes, hi guys, good to see you recording show on Sunday with Jay wanting to watch Game of Thrones live. Also, Mark, how was your holiday? Hope you enjoyed it. I believe Melo will be traded. How will Melo affect young Frank? Will Melo ball dominance destroy his confidence?
I don't think having Melo here will help Frank's development when he's like, I'm going to try to create for the offense, and Melo just wants me to give him the ball and go away. God damn it.
Are you happy to see KP in Coach Horny's system, more pick and roll and pop for KP?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is going to be a more wide open system. I'm happy. Yeah.
I'm happy that Kyrie is leaving the Cavs. The young guys know LeBron is leaving next season, and he'll be left a team in cap hell designed to LeBron's strengths.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, like if you're Cleveland, like you're probably going back to the NBA Finals, and that's you 3 years in a row you're going to go 3 years.
It'll be four if they make it this year.
It'll be 4 years in a row going to the NBA Finals, and you've won one of those finals. That'll probably worth being terrible for a couple of years.
Yeah, I would take that.
So whatever.
How do you feel about LeBron and he basically leaving next season? I think he may go to Houston, especially if Melo's traded there and Chris Paul stays.
Yeah, that's possible. The rumors are LA. Who the hell knows? I think a lot depends on Lonzo Ball. If Lonzo Ball is really good, then maybe they go to LA. If Lonzo Ball is terrible, then why would he go there? Because obviously I know Paul George is going to go there as well, but like you need some like young players there that are really good to make it worthwhile for him to go there.
As long as he doesn't have a live TV special, I have no problem him going.
Yeah, are you going to be upset that he's already moved around enough that I'm not going to be that upset if he moves?
Yeah.
Okay.
nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. We are nyknickspodcast on Twitter. Patreon.com/nyknickspodcast. Help support the show.
Yes. Please donate to Patreon. The show is expensive. Jay tells me I don't give him money. But I do sometimes give him money. Do I?
Once in a while.
Once in a while. I actually should probably sign up for Patreon.
You should. Jorge writes, "Hey guys, I'm depressed as F. Can you cheer me up with some good Knicks news?"
Good Knicks news. KP looked awesome in Africa.
There you go.
I don't know if they actually were playing the game in Africa or not. But,
that's it for emails.
Only a couple of Facebook questions because no one's interested in the Knicks anymore. Rich writes, "Is it safe?"
Right now. I'm getting nervous, though, because we do have that board in my office where we reset it every time the Knicks embarrass themselves, and they're at about 27 days right now, which I feel like this is the calm before the storm.
I'm going to say I'm excited for this season. If you get outside of Melo, I want the Melo stuff to pass. I'm excited to see how this team plays. Jaime writes, "So the Oakley thing, a year away from the Garden, don't you think that's a bit much when you can see him courtside? How do the Garden fans react to him coming back?"
Fans would love to see him back. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. That's almost. Yeah. I almost had to reset the clock for that one.
Jaime writes, "Melo only wants to go to the Rockets now. How does that make you feel? Since a month ago he only wanted to go to the Cavs."
It makes me feel like the Knicks should do what they want to do and stop listening to him.
I think there's a select group of teams like Oklahoma, maybe Portland. Just work out a trade and then bring it to Melo and go, that's it. Don't play in the NBA next year or go do this trade.
Yeah. Portland could give us what we want.
Chris writes, "How bad do you wish Dolan would have what do you think you get from Portland?" A draft pick, I guess?
Yeah, you get a draft pick and, bad contracts that expire sooner. A Myers Leonard or something, and somebody like Harkless.
Chris writes, "How bad do you wish Dolan would have a Donald Sterling moment and be forced to sell the team?"
I think about that at least once a week.
I mean, how often do people are just going up? Reporters going up, like Knicks friendly reporters are going up to Dolan, being like, "Hey, Dolan, what do you think about those blacks again?" Jaime writes, "So if the Knicks win the finals, what do you think will be the first thing Dolan does?"
Probably goes on world tour with his band saying "Mission Accomplished."
I don't know. What did he do when the Rangers won the cup?
I don't know.
Did he own the team when the Rangers won the cup? That's going far back. No, that's 94.
He didn't know. I don't think he owned them in 94.
I don't think he did. But I don't know. I don't know what he does. Probably a world tour with the Eagles. with the Eagles open up for him. Jaime writes, could the Knicks win more games than last year with the squad they have right now? That includes Melo right now.
They could. They won't, but they could.
I mean, what did they lose? They lost Derrick Rose.
Holiday. I mean, it's pretty much the same team that sucked. Only Melo's a year older.
And they got French and they got Timmy Hardaway. I mean, if anything, like the team is better than last year.
I think it's a
They
wash.
lost Jennings. They have Baker. I don't know. Whatever. Ron writes, if Melo starts the season with the Knicks get off to a hot start, should the Knicks keep him to assure themselves of a playoff run or trade him mid-season?
Can I have what you're smoking?
I don't think they're going to get off to a hot start. But if they did, I mean, if they got off to a hot start, you're assuming that means KP is playing really, really well. That means Timmy Hardaway is playing really, really well. Obviously, Melo will have to play well also. And you're assuming Frenchie's playing pretty well. So then I guess you keep Melo and go for a playoff run because at that point you're hoping these young guys are getting better and maybe you don't necessarily need that high draft.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to make that move if it's going well.
Yeah, if they have like that season where they won 54 games, they came out of the gate really hot and no one expected it. So the Knicks are like, if the Knicks are 20-7, you don't trade Melo, you just keep riding it, see what happens. And Jaime writes, when's the next Brink show? And I think the next Brink show will be next Sunday. We'll probably take a week off from Knicks show unless something dramatic happens.
Exactly. So that's our show for today. Thank you for listening, everybody.
What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that I don't know. What did we learn?
I don't know.
We learned that the Knicks did not make a lot of moves for a team that needs to be. Yeah. All right. That was our best what did we learn now segment of all time.
We learned that
we learned that we are too tired to do what did we learn today.
Who cares? We had a lot to talk about this episode, so let's call it a day.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back in 2 weeks.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end.